forget, guys, we're also streaming on YouTube now. I keep forgetting to make that statement, but it's true. We are streaming on YouTube now.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
This deck has by far been the most requested deck of the StarCraft mini set. Protoss Rogue, it's the best deck in the game, Clark HELLSCREAM. I keep losing to it. I have some bad news. You've been high-rolled, my friend, and you're gonna continue to be high-rolled because that's just how Hearthstone is. I am not kidding when I tell you guys this is the most requested deck that I keep getting comments about because for some reason people really believe that Protoss Rogue is one of the best decks in the game. So go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel in order to say thank you, Clark. Thank you for going through the data and actually figuring out that Protoss Rogue, it's not the best deck in the game. I'm sorry to rip that bandage off very quickly, but while I was playing with this archetype, it feels like nobody really knows what direction to take the deck. So I have 3 decks that will be in this deck guide today. Only one of these decks will be in the game clips coming up ahead. But before we talk about even what the deck is trying to do or what cards we should play, let's take a look at the meta to figure out what exactly we need to do in order to make our deck successful. Because right now, Rogue is looking like it's in a good spot, right? It is being carried by Weapon Rogue statistics to where I think if Weapon Rogue was not on the in the data whatsoever, Rogue would probably be down where Priest and Demon Hunter are right now, sitting at the worst classes in the game because there is just not a lot going on for the class right now. So if we take a look at what's going on, it's Weapon Rogue. That's it. There's Protoss Rogue that's being played, but it doesn't have that high of a win rate. All the Protoss classes seem to not be performing well as Terran Paladin, so that's just really unfortunate if you want to play some of these new cards and win a top legend. But continuing on the trend in top 1000 legend, it's Weapon Rogue or be damned if you want to play some Rogue, unfortunately. Cycle Rogue has completely fallen off. I don't know if it's just because people just don't want to play it or if they can't win with it. There's not really any other Rogue archetype that people are experimenting with right now, to where if you look at the data, Weapon Rogue, oh, it's the same thing, dude. I'm not even seeing anybody experimenting with Excavate Rogue, with any kind of like Thief Rogue, anything like that. It is just literally Weapon Rogue, Protoss Rogue. Those are the only decks people are playing right now. But if you decide to filter the decks on only Protoss, we can actually get an idea of how good this deck archetype is. Because honestly, it's not really as bad as I've been making it out in this video. It's just not a meta deck to where it's going to be able to compete with a bunch of the other nonsense that's happening. But after rotation, dude, this deck actually has a lot of potential of being like the next combo deck, depending on how slow Hearthstone decides to make the game. So looking at the data right now, the best list that is currently running around at the moment is a list that is all in on playing cover artists and using them on the Archons that are summoned by the Templars, so that way you can get a bunch of damage all in one turn. And this is one of the decks that we will be talking about today because it is the most successful. But the second deck in the data, using Greedy Partner, is the list that is going to be in the game clips coming up ahead. But the reason that people started playing Greedy Partner in the first place is because Jay Alex tweeted out this deck at the very beginning of the mini set, being like, I have an idea. Maybe Busy Peon can work with Warp Gate in order to make it slightly better. And then as he was going through optimizing the deck, he eventually landed on this version of the deck, which is very close to the version that I was playing. I think I might have just had like a slightly different list because my list didn't play O Manager, it didn't play Eridar Skulker, it didn't play Space Rock Collector, but I swear I copied this deck from Jay Alex, so I don't know what happened. Maybe I just copied a deck code without realizing it. But the decks that we're going to be looking over today are all visible on HS Guru as well, to where the meta has definitely been solidified. There are some people that are just playing the same stuff as a couple of days ago. Terran Shaman is still absolutely ruling right now. Warlock with Locations, completely unexpected deck that is still doing absolute numbers right now. But if we decide to look at the Rogue decks, they are just not present whatsoever. There's not a lot of people playing Rogue, which is kind of refreshing after the Cycle Rogue meta that we just went through. But if you look at the data as well, it's just not looking that good. Weapon Rogue, 55%. Mech Rogue, barely 0.1% of the meta, sitting at a 53%. And then when you finally scroll on down to the next Rogue deck, it's Archon, sitting at 1.5 popularity. It has been dying off these past couple of days, sitting at a 46% win rate. So it has decent performance at the lower ranks at Diamond through Legend, but the moment that you make it a top Legend, the deck just starts falling off even harder. To where it is a deck that can work at top 1000, but it really feels like you have to go all in on making this work, and it's just another deck that plays Scoundrel as quickly as possible in order to do its successful turns. Every single one of these decks that has a decent win rate is probably going to have copies of the Scoundrel one way or another. The only lists that are above 50% are using the deck to go all in on the combo and not go in for any of like this tempo nonsense, except for like maybe an Eridar Skulker to trade into the early game. I don't necessarily mind this card, but I really just don't feel like it fits the bill on what this deck is trying to do, but you need some ways of removing the board. So looking at top 1000 Legend, the deck looks even worse because this deck can't even get above a 34%, and this deck is just hard stuck at 50%. So what I'm trying to say with the data is that this is a fun deck, but it is all in on doing the combo, to where if you don't focus on just going all in on doing the thing, it really doesn't feel like this deck has a lot of potential. And it's really sad to me because I was seeing some other lists earlier that were running Metal Detector in order to maximize the amount of coins you have to get that combo ready when you need it. But unfortunately, having 4 weapons in the deck with quick pick, it's not really what you want to do. So let's kind of break down this archetype and see, is it possible to consistently win with this deck without comboing every single game? So the one thing that you need to realize about this deck is that there is the all-in combo where you do the full 30 damage all in one turn, but there is another way of being able to play this deck to where it's a little bit more sneaky. Now, why do I say sneaky? Because your Dark Templar is one of the key ways that you can actually play this deck for tempo by playing the Dark Templar, removing a very key minion that needs to die, and then you have the stealth doing a lot of carrying to where if this minion sticks, then you can play another Templar and win the game that way by playing Cover Artist on the Archon that gets summoned, and now you have 2 Archons that are dealing a bunch of damage, as well as having the prior damage of your minions before. So there are some ways to where you can kind of stagger the combo and go for a 2-turn kill versus going all in for a OTK, but it really depends on what the circumstance is. It depends on if you need this to remove a key minion at that moment, or if you're going up against a deck that is going to be able to deal 3 damage AoE and doesn't care about the stealth. So knowing what your opponent can do in order to counteract this deck, I feel like is extremely important. Now, this deck in particular may be an unoptimized version of the deck to where I do have another list that I will be showing you guys, but I want to explain the Warp Gate, the Cover Artist. Why are these at 1-ofs? Well, because it really feels like Warp Gate did kind of help go for more tempo game plans rather than just going for all-in combo. And if you have 2 of these, it can feel a little bit clunky, but in the game clips coming up ahead, you'll see that Warp Gate has a very real way of being decent in this deck. But again, are the other lists better? They might be. I think that Warp Gate is a card that shouldn't be in this deck in the perfect 30, but I couldn't figure out how to make it work without it, so I just decided to put it in here. But this is me telling you that you don't necessarily need a Warp Gate, only because Sandbox Scoundrel really is the GOAT. It is the best card that you want in this deck, and that is why we are playing coins, so that way we can play our Sandbox Scoundrel earlier by like turn 4, or so that way you can play your ARTANIS earlier, because you can either do it with the 1-mana Scoundrel or with the coins in order to get this card out sooner, so you can get those discounts and maybe go for a bigger game plan. Now, Jay Alexander does say that Shadow Step does seem to be bait in this kind of deck, but I really don't know how you play this deck without Shadow Stepping Scoundrels and going for big mana cheat turns. I just don't see it happening. So if you want to play a different list, this list seems to be all in on the combo. Just go for the combo, don't worry about anything else. And there is the Metal Detector in this list that I was just kind of trash talking, but the reason why I like this version is because it doesn't play both weapons. It just plays Metal Detector, doesn't play Quick Pick, and you have Dig for Treasure to not only draw a very important minion, but to potentially give yourself another coin if you do happen to hit the Sandbox Scoundrel, as well as having a Deafen in the deck to deal with those pesky Zerg DKs, because you know you are going to see them on your Legend grind. And if you want to take this deck to Legend, you are probably going to need to tech this card into your deck. But again, there are no Warp Gates, there are only Cover Artists, and it's all in on trying to get your Sandbox Scoundrel played by turn 5. And that is just the fate of a lot of rogue decks right now. A lot of them are just Scoundrel decks that are trying really hard to play this card as soon as possible, because if you don't play your Scoundrel, it just feels like you're playing a very clunky rogue that doesn't have what it needs. There's no Warp Gates in this deck, so the only way of discounting cards would be with the Scoundrel, with the Photon Cannon, or with the ARTANIS. And if you know Rogue, you tend to get, you know, overwhelmed very quickly. So that's just the biggest issue with this deck. It gets overwhelmed, but if you have a slow enough deck or a deck that's building up its win condition over a couple of turns, you can definitely bamboozle them with a stellar High Templar combo. So the mulligan for this particular deck is going to be mulliganing for Dig for Treasure, for Metal Detector, for Chrono Boost, so that way you can play Prep into Chrono Boost. You can obviously keep Dubious Purchase against some slower matchups, especially if you have the Prep. But in other matchups, you are probably going to need to keep your Deafen, your Dig for Treasure, your Blink or Photon Cannon, depending on the matchup, if you either need card draw or removal, and depending on whether or not you have your preps. But the most important card that you're definitely going to need to maybe not keep, but to try and find as quickly as possible is going to be that Sandbox Scoundrel. I would only keep this card if you have a way of generating a coin, like with Metal Detector. But the reason why I don't want to fully send this advice on keeping Scoundrel is because then you are all in on having to play Scoundrel on 5, versus if you have to keep yourself alive for tempo reasons, then you don't have that option. But keeping Scoundrel, probably not a good idea, especially if you have Dig for Treasure. And the mulligan for the other deck is honestly a lot more simple, because the cards that you want to keep are going to be your preps if you have a spell that is worth prepping, your greedy partner. You're going to just keep a 2-drop because you're going to need it to activate the greedy partner. You can definitely keep Quick Pick, Chrono Boost, and Dubious Purchase depending on the matchup. And if you're going up against a slow enough deck, you can maybe keep the Sandbox Scoundrel. But again, we already talked about this. Never keep Warp Gate. Just don't do it. You can draw it from Chrono Boost. If you keep Warp Gate, why didn't you mulligan for Chrono Boost is what I'm gonna say to you. So if you want to play this deck, just be aware your opponents are going to bully you on the ladder if they're just fast enough. And don't forget, if you do enjoy this kind of content, feel free to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and check out the Patreon if you want to support the content directly. So thank you so much for making it to the end of these Protoss deck guides, because we're finally getting into some new archetypes here, and we'll see you for the next video. I don't think Blink deserves a spot in this deck. I agree with you. But here's the issue. We're running a card called Greedy Partner, right? Greedy Partner wants us to have 2-drops. So that's the only reason why I'm even giving this list a try.
Watch your back.
Okay, so maybe I keep Void Ray. Actually, I guess a Druid. No, we're going all in with the combo. The location doesn't feel insane in any Protoss deck. In Mage, it is absolutely necessary. I think that the Mage deck needs it for sure. Like, the Theo deck is, like, I think the close that Protoss Mage gets to being good, where it feels like pseudo-freeze Mage. Oh my god, he's playing Hero Power Druid. Oh, dude, what a gamer. Okay, hold on a minute. Hold on a second, guys. Gaming is happening. I mean, this is the way that you go about it. I'm gonna have to play this deck at some point. I don't think it's gonna be today, though. Wait, hold on a minute. Don't you want to wait until after you play Artanis? I'm pretty sure it doesn't carry over. Alright, hold on a minute. This is cooking. This is cooking. It carries over? Dude, that's busted. I thought this entire time that you had to play the Groovy Cat afterwards. It's Game Aura? Oh my god, no way. Okay, well. Alright, this deck stonks just went up for me, but it's probably still not, like, that good. But you wanna know what is good? Doing this on turn 4. Alright, not bad. We kinda just chilling right now. The change is already live? Yes, there was a bug patch that went out, like, I think after the first day or two, and that interaction was fixed. So the deck is playable now. Clearly the deck is playable, otherwise why would he be doing this? It doesn't increase the number on the hero power attacks, but it works. No, it definitely does. Look at it. It's +3 now. Ooh. Scoundrel into Doob in order to draw through the deck. And then I can Shadow Step it back into my hand. I kind of need to find Artanis.
Now this is treasure.
Part of me is thinking about making a really bad play, where I like Shadow Step this in order to keep the 1/1.
My God,
but no,
how did he do it? Lark HELLSCREAM, the best Hearthstone player that ever lived.
We don't need to shadow step this in order to keep the 1-1 status. We're just never gonna play this card until the combo starts happening. Groovy Cat only works with attack gain, not weapons. Yeah, so it's like if it doesn't increase the attack of your weapon, it gives your hero attack. We got the ARTANIS, and we got both photon cannons. He's definitely gonna play other minions. This kind of like screws up the combo. Like, dude, this actually like really screws up the combo. I really just don't like the photon cannon. Am I just gonna draw all the cards and just play them now? Is that just the strategy? I guess at this point, like, the only card I'm making one is the cover artist.
Stand with me. Annihilation commences. For ARTANIS, synchronize.
Alright. Yeah, I guess at this point, like, we just have the tempo play. We don't even have to worry about, like, going for, like, Sonya or anything. Granted, this...
My God, how did he do it?
Wow.
Lark HELLSCREAM,
Alright,
the best Hearthstone player that ever lived.
The signature hero portrait? That's pretty cool. At the same time, I kind of want to make fun of him for it. Oh, man. Okay, so this is lethal, right? This has to be lethal. Why bother counting this when it's just probably lethal? Let's see, so this makes this 0, this makes this 3. If I hero power on top of this, I can still play the cover artist. But at the same time, I can technically squeeze in and eviscerate instead. So he's just dead. He's just dead, okay? Don't you worry about it. I know I misplayed, I don't care. I don't care. I kinda care. I care a little bit. All right, well, that's how bad this deck is. It loses to Archon Rogue. Ouch. All right, not gonna lie, that felt way better than my deck. That felt way better than my deck. And I need to guarantee this, so I just have to keep the whole hand. I'm not gonna lie, though, dude. Like, Greedy Partner actually feels really good. It kind of helps give the chrono boost, you know, playability. You know, you have Dubious earlier on. The coin scoundrel on 4 feels super good when it happens. Alright, it's probably still gonna be coin boost unless we get the prep off the top.
Must protect little box.
Investor DK is the new Wheel Warlock. You gotta rush it down and aggro it down before it pulls up the shenanigans. What? You cannot win late game versus it? No, you can totally win late game versus it. Shaman can win late game versus it. What you talking about?
For ARTANIS.
Shaman totally can deal with the late game of the Wheel Lock. It's an inevitable deck when it high rolls, sure, but you can outvalue it depending on the deck that you're playing. There's silence abilities. Shaman now has infinite hexes, so what you gonna do when your 10-10 is just gonna be a 0-1 for all. You know what I mean?
In the rear with the gear.
I don't think Wheel Warlock is an apt comparison. All right, I have an idea. Give me the stealth. It didn't give me the stealth. Okay. So we're just gonna have to chill. How does Shaman have infinite frogs? Because Shaman has infinite cards with the Fizzle Triangulate combo. Priest is also working again. Yeah, dude, repackaging good. I've actually unironically been playing repackaging. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, come on, man. Seriously?
This treasure ain't fit.
At least I can deal with it, but dude, that was 12 damage out of nowhere. Is that a lot to have charged with the Druid Hero Power deck? I mean, yes, but at the same time, there's a lot of building up towards it. That's like the only good news that you can give for the deck.
You want a piece of me, boy?
Okay, hold on.
In the rear with the gear.
1 mana, 1 mana, Shadow Step. This becomes... Hello, that's damage. Did we just win here now?
How long can you hold this?
Okay, I didn't need the Sonya to do this here because I just had the minions in hand, but this is definitely what you want to do. Here. Do I ever Shadow Step the 1/1 here?
Well played.
I don't think so. No, I have another one. I mean, I guess I could Shadow Step Sonya instead. It's probably unnecessary, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. 8/8 probably just wins the game. Having the 3/3 for extra damage and like trading probably makes sense, but I'm gonna go ahead and play for the BM.
Ready to plunder.
I guess this is like the reason why people tell me this deck is insane, because this can happen by turn 6. Okay, hold on. We have this. And we have another Dark Templar. Yeah, you know what? Using the Shadow Step was 100% incorrect for the sole fact that I actually could have made another one if I would have Shadow Stepped this instead. I would have been able to just summon 2 of these. But it is still lethal. But for the potential of this deck, we actually could have summoned another Archon this turn. That's actually kind of crazy.
By the holy light. Darkness comes on cold winds.
Play Greedy Partner and then play the Blink, see what happens. Maybe keeping Prep is a bad idea here. All right, here we go. We're gonna pop off this game.
One dose solves any problem.
I'm not gonna coin a Greedy Partner here. So useless.
You bold.
Here we go. Ready attack.
We're gonna go ahead and guarantee the kill on this, just because I don't want to have to deal with it later. We still have a coin in case we top deck the Scoundrel, but it doesn't look like we have it. Have I gotten turn 5 Artanis yet? No, not yet. Hasn't happened yet.
Dose solves any problem.
Coin Greedy Partner into prep Blink. Nah, we had to see what our potential was. Kind of chilling right now. I'm gonna keep this in order to snipe a minion because we're not pushing for tempo here. If we play this, it's a minion that he can just interact with, and then it just dies. So we need to make sure that we get the value out of this. We don't need to play it. I still kind of wish I could add like a dig for treasure or something in this deck. I guess it just really doesn't matter though unless you just cycle through the deck. I've been tweaking this list to 4 AM last night. It changed so much more. It's not the same deck. I'm only playing this so I can combo the Blink. Now that is 3, which will be 1. And then we have this. So, oh, dude, I just really wish I had,
Here we go.
I really wish that I had my Scoundrel, because then it would just be over. Are you still considered a rogue after playing Artanis? Yes, you are still considered a rogue. That's why all the that's why every single Artanis card matches your class. You are still a rogue, I believe. Would you agree Protoss are the weakest out of all the free factions? I don't think they're the weakest. They just require the you have to know how to build these decks. You can't just whittle around with it.
Stand with me.
Like these decks don't build themselves like some of the other decks do. You know what I mean? Way on the swing. It's like Reno. Yeah, exactly. It's like when you play Reno, you are still a priest, or you're still a mage, or a hunter, or whatever class you played. Would you like to see a more optimal Protoss Rogue? Dude, I'll tell you right now, this is the only one that has felt good for me to play. I've played like 3 or 4 different lists now. Some of my own creation. And this is the only one that actually is getting the job done and not like dying immediately. So it's like, you can show me a deck, but I wouldn't go so far to say it's optimal. No one really knows how to play this deck correctly yet. I think J Alex is the only one that's even like gotten close so far. Okay, Chrono Boost. So how much damage is this if I go for Sonya? If I go for Sonya, this deals 4, so it's essentially 20. Wait, it's lethal. Dude, it's lethal. Guys, it's lethal. Oh my god. Wait, hold on a minute. I counted 2 of these, didn't I? I counted 2 of these, so I'm an idiot. For some reason, I thought I could play a second one. Ah! I just automatically assumed when I play one, I could play another. Oh, that's funny. Oh, whoops. Well, I mean, it's lethal, because I'm going to win the game because I did this. I have an 8A in the field. He has to deal with it. Tempo King, exactly. I 100% made the correct play. 100%. Making a misplay? That never happened. The sad thing is, if I played Warp Gate, I think I actually could have done the second Archon. So this actually could have been a Warp Gate game, but I went for Tempo King. If he plays Zerglings, I might be screwed. Like, he's got 1, but he needs a second. Okay, that's a problem. That is actually 100% a problem. That is probably gonna win him the game. You know what I could do? I could Warp Gate into Chrono Boost, and then get the other 2 cards. Still lethal. Wait a minute! Why didn't he trade the 6/6s with the Reborn?
All life must end.
Dude, if you trade the 6/6s into the 8/8, they come back, and then you can rush the ones that Reborn. Guys, he could have cleared that. 100% he could have cleared that, but he just made the wrong trades. That's, well, I mean, hey, free win, free W. I technically screwed up. I was supposed to win if I played Warp Gate. I'm just gonna keep confusing my opponents to High Legend. That's always been my strategy. If I don't know what I'm doing, my opponents definitely don't know what I'm doing. Bad times bad equal good. I mean, dude, what happens when you multiply a negative times another negative? It's just math. That's how it works. It's just math, brother. I thought we were just playing cards and hope for the best. Exactly, dude. That's why I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just playing cards. Fucking math, how does it work? I don't know, man. A bunch of old dudes figured it out, and we as people that use the internet, you know, now have the the great privilege of being like, I don't need to learn math. I'm just gonna play RuneScape all day.
Keep on panning.
Alright, let's get rid of this. Dubious purchase, let's go. Honestly, dude, blink into blink just to get all of the cards in hand. How does this list beat Warrior Weapon Rogue? That's the neat part. You don't. You accept the L versus those decks. You don't think about them. This is not a top 1000 deck at all. It's very particular. I would say that like this can maybe like counter queue like potentially some mid-range decks because you just have the combo pieces if you have everything assembled.
Annihilation.
Maybe this deck had like some more removal, it could be a little bit better, but why not put in ETC and put in Fizzle and Glacial Shard in this deck? Absolutely not. I do not like the idea of, hey, what if you just ETC'd and then everything would be okay, because that's not how that works. Usually the way that it works is that you have a 4-mana card that you never won that you keep drawing, and you have it in matchups that don't matter. And the better way of thinking about it is, why spend 4 mana to play a 1-mana card? You just made Glacial Shard into a 5-mana Battlecry card. So that's the main reason I personally do not like it. Ooh, wait a minute, dude. Okay, I do not want this priest to duplicate, so I'm gonna go ahead and make this trade. However, dude, we have a warp gate. Wait. Dude, if this was still 1-cost cards, you could technically, like, do it with the warp gate, but at the same time, I don't think, you know, no, never mind. You wouldn't want to do that anyway. Never mind, I take that back. I take that back. I didn't mean it. I take it back.
Pitiful loot.
I think we win.
Here we go.
Alright, here we go. There's actually a little bit of cheese we could potentially do here if I hit Shadow Step.
Stand with me.
Yeah, if I draw cover artists, they're also, that is just also the game. Oh my god, I hit Shadow Step. Okay, hold on. I can make this 5. I can't discount it enough. So here's what I'm thinking. Next turn, I can go 1 mana Scoundrel into Sonya, play this one for 1 mana, then I can tap this. These are 3 mana. I can Shadow Step the Scoundrel. I can actually make these somewhat cost 0. But then it's only gonna deal... It's not gonna deal enough. Why not just do this now? And then I could do it again next turn.
Is complete. Overwhelming. The time reveals Azeroth's potential.
Damn, you don't want a copy of it for yourself, buddy? Okay, sure. Alright, friendo. Oh, we got the prep? Wait a minute. Cover artist? Damn. 3 mana makes this 1 mana.
Many options.
3 mana makes this 4 mana. Is it just Scoundrel into Artanis and then Shadow Step the Scoundrel again? These photon cannons I feel like could potentially be used for like some kind of like cheese lethal. Wait, hold on a minute.
So many options.
And
Choose soon.
Now this is treasure.
How long can you
The merging is complete.
Now this is treasure.
GG. Warp Gate seems bad in this. Warp Gate is literally the reason I won this game. Okay. All right. I don't know, man. Warp Gate, 1 Warp Gate seems to be the sweet spot. Because that was nuts. Like, the only reason why I was able to pressure him down like that was because the Warp Gate cheated 6 mana there. Oh, my lord.
hope will be my guide.
There was definitely a lethal there, man.
Your back.
He'll make Dungar a 2/2. Hey, man. It'll solve it, man. A -1/-1 to their board.
Reality.
Nice. I see he's playing the bad version of the deck. I am gonna go ahead and coin this out because I want this thing dead. Hopefully this doesn't play into the photon cannon. It might. Language hacker back pog. Dude, why? Oh, damn it. Wire is playing again. There's Kalento was playing the other day. There's some goats coming back, man. Dungar should cost 12 mana. I mean, dude, at this point, they might as well do it. They might as well do it now. I don't know what else to say, man. Pasak coming in with the Prime. Good to have you here, man. Thank you for that support. Welcome to the Horde, my friend. Very first time. Yeah, thanks for coming on by, man.
For Artanis. For Artanis.
Well, I wonder what that could be. Randomly generated, right? Yeah, randomly generated secret. another blink? I think blink should be draw a Protoss minion. Your next one costs 2 less. I mean, it essentially does. Like, it pretty much does do that. To a degree. Like, yeah, it would work with the other ones in hand, but it's like you're usually getting the one that you want to play. Like, this deck has Void Rays and 4 of the other ones. You have a 4 and 6 and getting the card that you want. It's pretty much that. We want to coin Artanis. Yeah, we want to coin Artanis. Blink being combo discount is so weird. No, it's not. It's very in line with Rogue card design. Sadly, Dungar's from Perils of Paradise, so if we don't release anything better than him, we'll have to see him at least at the start of 2026. The other thing about that card to keep in mind, Thunderbringer rotating will be important to that deck being weaker. But the other thing that kind of sucks is that that deck is just kind of sticking around. All of its ramp tools are kind of just staying.
Stand with me. We are here in the shadows.
Okay, I can't play that yet.
Vanquish. For Artanis.
So I have all of the Templar cards in my hand now. So I can play this for 1, play another one for 1, and then I think this is also naturally 1. I might have people here. Oh, it's explosive runes? Oh, shit! Ah, oh, damn, bro. And I'm just gonna draw cards.
Annihilation commencing.
Okay, so now this one is 1 mana. If I draw Sonya, I can maybe do something here. Dude, that frick... I mean, I couldn't play around it because I had to take advantage of the discount, but at the same time, oh man, I should have fucking known that. I had no other minion to play. Oh boy. I need cover artist. I have not had a game with cover artist yet.
Our path is clear.
This is actually close to being lethal.
It must be decisive. For Artanis. That one just...
I'm pretty sure I have it next turn as long as he doesn't go too crazy. I was just trying to make sure that I didn't miscount potential lethal here. I want to run more than 1 cover artist, but when I do, it becomes clunky as fuck. Yeah, that's kind of the problem with it. I think the 1 might be the good flex here. It's just like, the other question is, what else would you cut? Like, the 1 Warp Gate feels fine. You definitely need both Scoundrels. You definitely need both of the Templar cards. You definitely need Artanis. Dubious Purchase is card draw, so you definitely need that. Like, when you start looking at every single card, the only changeable cards are Greedy Partner and Eviscerate. But oh my god, dude, Greedy Partner has been carrying this deck. It's like actually been carrying the tempo. So that way I can play Scoundrel earlier, or Warp Gate, or not Warp Gate, or the Chrono Boost earlier. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I had the mana for it either. Fuck-on. I don't think I had it. I think I definitely have it here though.
Vanquish.
Yeah. Yeah, it has to be. So this deals 2. This summons 8. And then double Eviscerate ends it.